Hey everyone, welcome to episode 16 of Heroic Nonsense, with a spotlight on the self-anointed king of the road, Legacy Motormaster. Yes, this guy has been out for a while, but I've wanted to review him for the longest time, as he is one of my favorite characters, so I thought I'd give it a shot now while there is a bit of a lull in new interesting releases. As you can see, I'm also trying out some fun new graphic ideas for the intro to keep things fresh, so let me know if you like them in the comments section. I've also launched a Facebook page with the link down below in the description, so head on over there if you'd like to stay in touch or see some other goodies. There's also a ton of parts to this episode, including the How to Transform section, the main review, display ideas, and scale comparisons, so jump around to any of those sections using the timestamps below. So let's kick it off with something we haven't seen for a bit here, a game I like to call Guess That Scene. I've tried to reproduce some classic shots, this time of Motormaster and the Stunticons from the original cartoon, so let's see if you can name the episode and the related scenes. If you like, you can leave your answers in the comment section and I'll let you know if you were right. Stick around until the very end and you'll see a few more scenes that I had to throw in for fun. Not sure about you guys, but this is one of those characters I feel that everyone needs in their collection, especially in an updated form like this. I think the devs did an amazing job from the mold, which to date has only been used for this character, to the amazing shiny black paint job. They captured a ton of details, which I'll highlight next, but you can see for yourselves how cool this figure looks, especially knowing that he can not only transform into an imposing semi, but also combine into the mighty Menasor. The colors are simple in a sense, but sometimes you just want an evil Decepticon to be dark and menacing. Quick shot of Motormaster in case you want to see all of the details in one image. But let's dive right into the specifics, starting with a close-up of his upper body so you can see the nice details around his face and arms. The figure has got that Motormaster scowl captured perfectly with a beautiful shiny purple tint. I like that the figure has a very cool head that also moves inside of his characteristic outer box, and I also really like the white paint they use for the arms, and of course that they put a Decepticon symbol right there. Another fun feature coming from both his original G1 toy and the G1 cartoon are his feet, which replicate a miniaturized version of his front cab portion both in the front and from the side with all three wheels of the cab shown. These little details really do give it a premium feel. As far as weapons go, Motormaster does come with two, but they're somewhat underwhelming. Firstly, he has his characteristic sword, which generally looks fine, but I find it a bit short and stocky for Motormaster and too small for Menasor. He also has this laser that was a nice idea, especially since it forms part of the top of the trailer, but ultimately doesn't look that great for Motormaster or Menasor. What I ended up doing was simply taking some extra lasers from Legacy Astro Train and using it with Menasor, which look way better. You really can take any extra lasers you have lying around that fit his look and simply add them in. Lucky Astro Train came with so many extra that I don't have to steal them away from any of the other figures. As far as posability goes, you can get him into some really good poses as his joints for his legs and feet have an excellent amount of movement, which can make for some nice displays like I've shown here. It's also great that he can balance when crouching without any additional support needed. Now onto the truck, starting with the cab. I really like this design. I think they did an excellent job at replicating an Aerodyne sleeper truck up to and including the dimensions. That shiny black with the painted purple windows and Decepticon symbol on both sides look great, and I like the very clean back that could have been messy. Overall, a great job on the truck portion, very clean, and can definitely even stand on its own even without the trailer. Now the trailer is where I have some mixed feelings. I like that it's bulky so that it fits in with the size of Motormaster's cab when connected, and I'm fine with the seams showing. I'll note that most of the pieces here generally form the skeleton of the arms and legs of Menasor, but again, similar to Earthrise Optimus, the trailer feels too short. I wish they would have added a bit more, even if it didn't amount to anything other than filler, to complete the length of the trailer. I do think the trailer looks a lot better size-wise when compared to Optimus's, which we'll see in a bit, and overall it doesn't look too bad, but you can see here what I mean when it comes to length. Positioning it at the right angle slightly covers up this miss a bit. I know there are some third parties that make some add-ons for this, also, it would have been nice to add that purple strip all the way through. The front looks great, and they added enough details to make it look as realistic as possible, specifically with the silver grille and bumper. Some colors at the lights would have been nice, but doesn't take away from the look at all in my opinion. I like the purple windows as well, which is accurate from the G1 toy and cartoon. The trailer doesn't look too big height-wise from this angle and fits in fine. I added this image so you guys can pause if you like and just look at all the detail. Again, very clean and always appreciate when they add in rivets. I'm glad they went all in on the paint job. From this angle, you can see how clean the back is and actually looks great in my opinion. They actually captured this part of the truck very nicely and looks fairly realistic. When you separate out the truck from the trailer, you can really notice the weird scale here. Very high but too short, making it look a bit stumpy. It really just needs that little bit of extra length to make a huge positive difference. This part looks good, and I really like the nice black finish here, which ultimately formed the chest of Menasor. You also have those legs that come down to keep the trailer upright without the cab portion, which I'm sure you all noticed already. Back is fine, has some elements of two swinging trailer doors, but a bit messy. Since it's the back and a lot of Menasor is concealed in here, I'm okay with it. The wheels are a bit dinky, and is maybe another one of my general complaints about the recent line in the trucks. The wheels really should be bigger. Very clean on the top, other than a few connectors sticking out. You get a better view of where the laser is hidden away here. And if you ever wonder what a different trailer from some of the other trucks, like Toxitron for example, would look like, you can see that although it fits, it doesn't look too great. It's tiny in comparison to Motormaster's cab portion. I really do like this art. It has a Blade Runner feel to it with that very unique dark retro future aesthetic. I think that the drawing of Motormaster is great, especially how they angled him on the high wide road. And if you look closely enough, you can see the other Stunticons driving around different parts of the cityscape. The side art is also very striking, showcasing the combined form of Menasor against that same city background. Capping it all off with the back, which shows how all the different parts of Motormaster and truck form are used to create the different elements of this figure, from Menasor to Motormaster himself to the small city slash laser outpost. Now this is where it all comes together and was such a tease for me and our boys as we waited for each Stunticon to come out. It was worth the wait though, as I think they look great and are so much fun to display together. Overall, I think they scale fine, not perfect, but pretty close. I think it helps that Motormaster's cab is a sleeper and so it has that extra bulk to it. If the wheels were a bit bigger, I think it would be almost perfect. And of course, how can I not show them all transformed here and next to each other? Here the scale for me works perfectly, as is usually the case for the bot modes. Really fun to display together. Now, if they could just speed up the release of all the G2 Stunticons, including Venusaur, then that would be great. Is anyone else as excited for the G2 version as me? Most importantly, you want to see how he lines up with his creator, Megatron. This mold is from a bunch of War for Cybertron versions. I got ours from the Netflix spoiler pack. They scale great for me and are both about the same height. Motormaster also scales really nice with Optimus in bot mode, since that is his main competitor for the King of the Road title. The truck modes look pretty great together and I think generally scale fine. Here I'm using Shatterglass Optimus. I like the length a bit more of the Earthrise Optimus mold, but might be because the sleeper portion of the Motormaster mold takes up some of the back of the cab portion, making it look a bit smaller. Adding in the trailer, the Optimus mold does look a bit smaller in comparison, which is why I hope they update his trailer size for the anticipated 86 Studio Series Optimus. From this angle, Optimus and his cab look okay next to Motormaster, but trust me, it's the angle. From the top, you can actually see how much shorter the trailer is on Optimus as compared to Motormaster's, which I already think was a bit too short. Same issue from the front where Optimus's trailer barely shows over the cab portion. If they had made it more realistic scale-wise, the two would have looked really great next to each other from this angle. Ultimately, from the right angle, the leader of the Autobots and leader of the Stunticons could look really nice together, and I expect will look much better, fingers crossed, when, as I said earlier, 86 Optimus is released. I thought these guys would look a lot better next to each other, and I love each figure separately in truck modes, but at least from this angle, I think the scale seems a bit off. On the side though, I think they look very cool, though again suffering a bit from the trailer scale. From this view, Toxitron appears a bit longer, but that is also due to the fact that it's not a cab over like the G1 Earthrise Optimus mold. Putting the trucks all together makes for a fun team up. As I had said in my Toxitron review, with my link right here, I love the Road Warrior Decepticons because they are somewhat unique and a cool counter for the Autobots, so even better when you have a bunch of Decepticon trucks. To cap it all off, here's Rodimus Prime from the Kingdom line. These two, in my opinion, display the best next to each other. They're both big, nicely painted, solid vehicles, and just seem to fit scale-wise. I also think that the Rodimus figure is one of the best designs from the War for Cybertron trilogy, and even to date. So I felt these two just needed to go together. What do you guys think? Now, onto the transformation. Let's start with his arms by opening up this hidden compartment, folding in his hands, and closing it back up for both sides. We'll take this backpack portion and fold it over his head, straightening it out and leaving aside for the moment, so that we can then take his arms, unhinge them here, and rotate and fold them back into this position with his tab connecting into the slot on the back wheelbase. Same thing for the other side. You can leave this part aside for now. This next part involved opening up a bunch of panels, starting with behind his legs. Then rotating and lifting up these side panels like so, followed by opening up some more panels on the legs flap, and side flaps, which will ultimately form the side of Motormaster's cab. Now we have to hide away the feet by first opening up the front part so that you can get access to the wheel, which is very tightly held in place, and lift it out. Don't forget to close it back up after. Now rotate this entire foot section 180 degrees to create the grille section of the truck. Same exact steps for the other side. Now focusing back to the top, swivel the waist 180 degrees. And unhinge these kneecaps, which will form part of the roof of the cab. I like to do the legs one at a time at this point rather than click them in together first and fold them in together later. This part takes a bit of getting used to and really just requires you to fold it up so that the sides end up flush to the rest of the truck. Make sure the side flaps are out of the way though. Once we have them in place and lined up, click the two halves together. And then click these two tabs from the front roof section into place right here. Tip here is to push down and slightly back at the same time. These two flaps are supposed to tab in, but they always seem to be just a bit off. Now add in the trailer using the tab here, and there you have it. The king of the road ready to take on Optimus himself. So let's start with the whole Stunticon team together in bot form, which is the best display hands down. But if you want to have a bit of fun, grab any Autobot and circle him in like I do to poor Jazz here, even if this is an idea taken from the G1 cartoon with Optimus in the middle. Since we don't have the full G2 Stunticon team, why not throw the G2 Stunticons we do have with G2 Toxitron to give your display some color? One of my favorite team-ups for a display is with the Earth form of Barricade from the Galactic Odyssey 2-pack with Punch Counterpunch. I think these two really look great together in that similar color scheme and scale. They also look amazing together in robot form. I'm using the Siege mold here. Kind of funny to imagine that you could also have Barricade as a Decepticon cop pulling over Motormaster for reckless driving on a Decepticon-controlled Cybertron. I threw in Shattered Glass Optimus here as well because I like that all three have this similar feel to them. One combo I thought of immediately when I got Motormaster was with Earthrise, Runabout, and Runamuck. I always liked that they had this white and black shade to them, which match up really well with Motormaster. Yes, they're not Stunticons, but could definitely see them as honorary members. The more Decepticon cars, the better, I say. Do you guys agree? This one is just a complete chaotic mix of different timelines and characters, but again, Shatterglass, Optimus, and Tarn do look like they would make for a hardcore team of heavy hitter Decepticons. And if you want someone who can go into battle with Motormaster with a sword and keep up, look no further than the recent Toxitron figure. The link to that review is above and in the description section. I have some more great display ideas there for Toxitron. Back to the G2 team up, but this time in robot mode. And just Shattered Glass, Optimus, and Motormaster on their own. This team up is usually one of my favorite for Motormaster, similar to the one with Barricade. And of course, capping it all off with Optimus, who we know Motormaster wants to take down a peg or two, so he can claim that title of King of the Road for himself. You can also have some nice display with them going at each other. Like I said, fingers crossed that 86 Optimus will be bulkier in truck form with a full trailer so that we can have a really great Motormaster versus Optimus display. I showed this earlier, but really liked how it came out, so I wanted to show the original unadulterated version. And like I promised, a few extra shots from the G1 cartoon that don't showcase Motormaster, but do have some of the Stunticons. Since I doubt I will do separate reviews of these figures, I figured I'd take the opportunity to show these here because they are some really fun ones to reproduce. Let me know below if you figured them all out. So that's it guys, on to episode 17 next. Hope you enjoyed, and if you stuck around until the end, thanks very much. And if you still haven't subscribed, I would very much love it if you guys did, so I can keep bringing you all of these episodes of Heroic Nonsense. Like I said at the start, I've also just released my channel Facebook page, the link's below, so head on over there to keep in touch and see some extra images and videos. We're starting from zero on Facebook, so don't be surprised if you're the first to join. See you all next time. And remember, it's all such heroic nonsense in the end.
Transform!